A man can survive almost anything, except the hope that never truly dies. For 20 years, Daniel believed his wife was gone forever. He buried his grief, raised his little son alone, and forced himself to keep moving. But one quiet afternoon, in a crowded park, he looked up and saw the impossible. The woman who looked exactly like his late wife was standing beneath an old oak tree. Then he noticed someone beside her. A young woman. She had his eyes. Before this incredible story begins, welcome to Heartline Stories. If emotional stories about kindness, hope, and second chances touch your heart, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories that remind the world kindness still exists. Daniel Carter was only 32 when his wife, Emily, disappeared. They had been driving home after visiting family during a terrible storm. Their car was swept into a flooded river. Rescue teams searched for days. They found pieces of the vehicle but never found Emily. The authorities declared her dead months later. Daniel never truly accepted it, but life gave him no choice except to move forward. Their little boy, Noah, was only 3 years old. Every morning Daniel packed lunches, worked long hours as a mechanic, and somehow found enough energy to read bedtime stories every night. Money was always tight, but kindness somehow filled the empty spaces. Neighbors brought meals during difficult weeks. An elderly woman across the street watched Noah whenever Daniel worked overtime. Daniel promised himself that one day he would return every act of kindness he had received. Years passed. Noah became a respectful young man, just like his mother had dreamed. Daniel never remarried. Every birthday and every Christmas, he quietly placed fresh flowers beside Emily's memorial stone. He never stopped loving her. On the 20th anniversary of her disappearance, Daniel decided to visit the small riverside park where they had shared their first date. It wasn't a place he visited often because the memories were painful. He sat alone on a bench, watching families laugh while children chased pigeons. Then everything changed. Across the park stood a woman with silver strands in her dark hair. She smiled exactly the way Emily used to smile. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. His legs carried him forward before his mind could understand what he was seeing. But before he reached her, he noticed the young woman standing beside her. She looked around 20 years old. She had bright blue eyes. His blue eyes. The woman noticed Daniel staring. Her smile slowly disappeared. Tears instantly filled her eyes. Daniel, she whispered. His voice trembled. Emily? Neither of them moved for several seconds. The world around them seemed to disappear. Finally Emily walked toward him. I'm so sorry, she said through tears. Daniel couldn't even breathe. I thought you were dead. I thought you believed I was. Nothing made sense. The young woman quietly stepped closer. Emily gently placed her hand on the young woman's shoulder. Daniel, this is Grace. Grace looked directly into Daniel's eyes. I've always wanted to meet you. Daniel felt the ground disappear beneath him. Emily explained everything through endless tears. The flood had swept her far downstream. She had survived but suffered severe head injuries. She remembered nothing, not her name, not her family, not where she lived. A retired couple found her unconscious and brought her to another state hundreds of miles away. Without identification, doctors couldn't discover who she was. Years passed before fragments of memory slowly returned. By then, Emily had built another life. The retired couple had become her family. She later married a widower who helped her through recovery. Together they adopted Grace when she was a baby abandoned outside a church. Grace wasn't Emily's biological daughter. She had simply grown up sharing Emily's kindness. Sadly, Emily's second husband passed away several years earlier. Only after his death did Emily decide to search for the pieces of her forgotten life. It took years. Then she finally found Daniel. Daniel remained silent for a long time. He wasn't angry. He wasn't even confused anymore. He simply saw the pain Emily had carried for 2 decades. Grace quietly spoke. My mom told me every night that somewhere there was a good man who loved her before she remembered herself. Daniel smiled sadly. I waited 20 years. Emily lowered her head. I know. Noah arrived later that afternoon after Daniel called him. When he saw Emily standing there, he froze. He had only childhood photographs. Still, he recognized her immediately. Mother and son embraced each other while tears rolled down everyone's faces. No one spoke for several minutes. Some reunions need silence more than words. Over the following months, Daniel, Emily, Noah, and Grace slowly learned to become part of each other's lives. Not as the family they once imagined, but as the family life had unexpectedly created. Grace quickly became close with Noah. She admired how kindly Daniel treated everyone. One afternoon she asked him why he never became bitter after losing everything. Daniel smiled. Because bitterness would have stolen the only thing I still had. What was that? My heart. Those words stayed with Grace forever. Inspired by Daniel's example, Grace left her corporate job and opened a non-profit community center that helped single parents with childcare, meals, and job training. Daniel volunteered every weekend repairing broken bicycles for neighborhood children. Emily taught reading classes for adults learning English. Noah organized fundraising events. Slowly, hundreds of struggling families found hope because one broken family had chosen kindness over resentment. Years later, a newspaper asked Daniel whether he regretted losing 20 years with Emily. He thought carefully before answering. I lost 20 years, he said softly. But if I had filled those years with hate, I would have lost my entire life. Kindness didn't erase my pain. It gave my pain a purpose. His words spread across the country. Thousands of people wrote letters describing how they had forgiven someone because of his story. Others volunteered in shelters. Some simply called parents they hadn't spoken to in years. One decision to choose kindness instead of anger created countless new beginnings. Life doesn't always give us the ending we expect. Sometimes it gives us something even more meaningful. It gives us another chance to love. If this story touched your heart, remember this: kindness is never wasted. Even when life breaks your plans, kindness has a way of building something beautiful from the pieces. Someone near you may be carrying a pain you'll never see. A smile, a helping hand, or a forgiving heart could become the miracle that changes their life forever. Until next time, keep believing in hope, keep choosing compassion, and keep spreading kindness. This is Heartline Stories, where every act of kindness has the power to change a life.